In today's video, I'm going to show you 8 incredibly difficult Checkmate in 2 puzzles, the kind that will stump even the most seasoned chess players. In each position, it's white's to play and deliver checkmate just in 2 moves. Now don't feel discouraged if you can't solve them. These puzzles have been specifically designed to test your creativity, calculation, and deep understanding of tactical themes. I've also included video explanations of each puzzle, so if you get stuck, you can watch the full reason behind why some moves fail and why the correct solution works. Take your time with each puzzle. Give yourself up to 15 minutes if you need to. If you solve a puzzle correctly, give yourself 1 point. If not, no worries, just move on to the next one. At the end, tally your score to see how well you did. So get ready, grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's see how many of these impossible checkmate in 2 puzzles you can solve. At first glance, this position looks like a guaranteed win for white, a trapped king, and an unstoppable pawn, and a full rook advantage. But here's a catch. Every move that white makes either frees the black king or causes instant stalemate. The position is a paradox, total domination that leads to a draw. That's why this setup is considered one of the most impossible puzzles in chess. Try to find the move that forces checkmate in just 2 moves. I'll give you a few seconds to solve it, or pause the video to find the solution. The solution is rook to a6. Black pawn must capture rook, followed by pawn to a7, capturing the black king. Alright, here's puzzle number 2, and if you thought the first one was tricky, this one looks like total chaos. At first glance, the board looks like a mess, but look closer. The black king is stranded in the corner of h1, protected by his pawn in f3, but trapped by his own position. White has tons of firepower, but the trick is finding a way to deliver checkmate in exactly 2 moves, not one too many, and not accidentally giving black an escape. Take a look at the position and see if you can find a way for white to checkmate in just 2 moves. The solution is queen to c2, black knight moves to a3 to escape, followed by long castle checkmate. Let's move on to the next problem. At first glance, it looks like the black king is completely surrounded, but not quite checkmate yet. The white pieces are perfectly placed to cover nearly every escaped square. The queen dominates the 6th rank and covers b5 and c4. The bishop on d5 controls the long diagonal. The rook on c1 cuts off the entire c file. The knight on a2 guards b4 and c3. And the king on b4 covers a5 and b5. White to move, and just like before, the goal is to deliver checkmate in just 2 moves. Take a moment to really look at the position. Pause the video if you want. Can you find the winning move? In this position, the correct moves are bishop to h1, black king must capture knight on a2, and the white king delivers a checkmate on g2. Alright, here's another brain-melting position. Take a good look at this. White to move. The board is chaos. Both sides have pieces hanging everywhere. The kings are exposed, and there's danger on every square. But here's a challenge. Can white find a knockout blow? Pause the video, think about it carefully, because the solution is insane. To solve this, the white kings deliver a check on d6, forcing the black king to capture, and to finish the black king is to promote the pawn on e8 to knight, giving a brilliant checkmate. Alright, let's look closely at the next one. It's white's to play and mate in 2. The black king is on d6, boxed in by his own pawn on d7, and limited space on the dark squares. White has a rook on e5, controlling the entire 5th rank, a rook on g3, eyeing the g file and ready to swing across, a bishop on h2, diagonally cutting toward the center, a knight on d8, restricting escape routes, especially c6, e6, and f7, 2 advanced pawns on b7 and c7, trapping black even more. The king on a7 is safe and out of play. Black's mobility is extremely limited. That's the key. Take a second to really absorb the position. Notice how cramped the black king is on d6. White pieces are extremely active, but the trick is finding the exact move that forces checkmate in 2. no matter what black plays next. Here's the genius of this puzzle. The winning move isn't a check, capture, or threat. It's the quiet move rook to g7. It looks so simple, but now black is completely paralyzed. Whatever they do, it's mate on the next move. Black king must capture the pawn on c7. The final blow is rook to d5, leading to checkmate. Alright, let's move on to the next position. It's white's to play and mate in 2 moves. Take a close look before I reveal the answer. The black king on d4 looks pretty active, but notice how every piece around it is working to limit its escape squares. See if you can spot the winning sequence before I show you the solution. Let's do a position breakdown. Black king stuck on d4, surrounded by its own pawn on b4, and limited by white's central control. White's queen on a6, cutting off the entire 6th rank on the a file. White bishop on e4, dominating the long diagonal and controlling key squares like c2, d3, and f5. White rook on f2, ready to slide along the 2nd rank or jump up the checks. White king on g3, perfectly positioned to deliver a coordinated attack. Black pawns on a7, b4, and f7. These block their own king from escaping the queen side. This is a beautiful closed position where black's kings appear to have a space, but it's actually suffocating. This puzzle is a perfect example of geometry and coordination. Every white piece plays a role in boxing in the black king. The key move, rook to f6, looks so quiet, but it's pure genius. Now, no matter what black does, there's a forced checkmate in 1. The sequence follows with black king to e5, with an incoming checkmate with queen to a1. Alright, take a look at this position. White's got 2 knights, a rook, and the queen all aiming straight at the black king. The black king is very exposed on e5, sitting in the center of the board with limited mobility. White's knights on f6 and g8 are extremely active, creating dangerous potentials for forks or mating nets. White's queen on g1 and rook on d4 are ideally placed for mating attacks, especially along the d and g files. Black's king has almost no safe squares. On f5, e6, and d5 are all controlled by white's pieces. Before I show you the move, please pause the video and try to find the checkmate yourself. Okay, let's see if you found it. White plays rook to f4, sacrificing the rook taken by the bishop. The black king is completely boxed, and the last move is queen to c5, checkmate in 2. Alright, take a look at the last puzzle that involves 2 brilliant bishops. White's got 2 bishops and a rook, but black is about to promote those pawns. But the black king is in a mating net on the edge of the board. So here's the challenge. White to move, can you find the checkmate? Alright, the move white plays is rook to c3, sacrificing the rook. Black takes it with pawn on b4, but that's exactly what white wanted, because now bishop to c2, checkmate. The king on a4 is completely trapped. Beautiful coordination between both bishops. And that's a game. A brilliant bishop checkmate to finish it off. If you enjoyed the puzzle, make sure to like and subscribe for more chess puzzles. Also, I will include in the description a scoring system. Please let me know in the comments how well you did, and I'll see you in the next one.